You know, the scriptures goes into how there shall be many in the last days that walk after their own lust. So I want to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the other apostles of Great Millstone, also known as GMS, and salutations to the Most High's men in the four corners of the earth that are pushing His word in sincerity and truth. And shalom to the sisters that support and subscribe wholeheartedly to the message of deliverance and salvation of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Bunyan for GMS Mississippi with an in-transit topic going into how scoffers shall walk after their own lust in these last days. And that's what you see in real time. That's what you see in real life. And that's also what you see on the social media platforms. You know, many individuals that do not have works of righteousness will have something to say against your works of righteousness. You know, for example, many people come onto the comment boards and tell you that you're lost, tell you that you are mistaken, telling you that you are insane. But yet you are an individual of the hopeful elect of the Heavenly Father through His only begotten Son that is practicing and rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord, doing your best into not eating of unclean animals, unclean foods, unclean fish, doing your best not to partake in pagan holidays, pagan festivities, doing your best not to give yourself over unto carnality. An individual who's doing the complete opposite, and everything that I just stated that you as a hopeful elect member is not doing, they're doing and involving themselves with, will have the audacity to tell you that you're lost, that you're confused, that you're mistaken, that you are in a false religion, a false doctrine, etc., etc. You know, everything that they say is an attempt for Satan to use against you as a confidence breaker, a faith breaker, and basically to destroy you as an individual that is fully persuaded in your own mind in being a son or a daughter of the Heavenly Father. Satan's goal and objective is to utilize these lost souls, these wicked individuals out there who like to use the art of master manipulation and deception. You know, but as it is written, you know, there is no enchantment against Jacob. So all of the sorcery, all of the witchcraft, all of their particular prayers of evil against you, they won't prevail. You know, and a great majority of these people that are coming against the truth right now are Edomites. You know, and these Edomites are butthurt once again, you know, due to the salvation not involving them. You know, they've taken the entire planet Earth. They have been able to manipulate every soul under the sun. They've been able to go into in any country, any continent on planet Earth and be respected. But hearing the true Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians, not include them in the 12 tribes, not include them in those that are going to be saved, not include them in being in authority and rulership in the kingdom of heaven, does not sit well with them. So they have made themselves mockers and scoffers of the truth. When they're the first liars, they're the first murderers. And as I mentioned, Satan wants you to think that you are not involved in the correct thing. He wants you to think that maybe this could be a mistake, or maybe someone could be mistaken when it comes to pushing this true doctrine in the aspect of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. And that's why the scoffers and the scorners, they come against what? They come against the names of the Heavenly Father, right? And as it is written, the prophets of old were commanded to not preach and speak in the names of the Lord. So what do these scoffers and scorners do? They come in and tell you to say something differently, or to not say that, or they just flat out give you a name that is completely different. You know, and even scoffers and scorners are call themselves taking upon some particular form of Hebrew education and trying to give the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, their version of what it should be in order to break your faith, break your confidence in the Lord. You know, because they don't need you to be empowered. They don't need you to have the will of the Lord in your mind. You know, but the elect are going to do what the elect do. The elect are going to be saved 100%. The elect, the true elect of the Lord, are not going to be deceived by any means. So therefore, the hopeful elect out there are continuing to do exactly what the Heavenly Father demands of us and commands of us. And what comes along with that is a sense of confidence, a sense of relief, and no sense of fear. You know, because if you pay attention to the comment boards, there are a lot of evil and wicked people on the face of the planet. The things that they say, the attacks, and how they come at you, they will present themselves as an enemy. Even though you have never met them and they've never met you, that light that you shine, it shines like a single bulb flashlight in their direction. And they hate it. You know, it's just like walking in a room of someone that is asleep and turning the lights on and pulling the covers off of their face. They run from it. They try to quickly pull the covers back up, or they face their face inside of the pillow to avoid what? To avoid that bright shining light. And the Heavenly Father, right, as it is written, He has made us a light unto the world. You know, because everyone is in the mindset right now of this so-called Gentile salvation, which is nothing new. It's just been revived. You know, because years ago when I first came into the truth, the Gentile conversation was touched upon. Year after year, it's touched upon. And to be honest with you, it did take a brief hiatus to where it had not arisen for the most part in such a large scale that it has right now within, you know, the past, you know, couple years or more. You know, but now you have wicked men, wicked Israelites that are bringing out this false doctrine. And then just so happen you have many Edomites who are finally siding with the Israelites due to that message. Why? Because now they believe that the gates of salvation are open unto them, and they're not. You know, salvation is only for Israel, thus said Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. You know, when you read the scriptures, that's what it goes into. You know, but people don't understand the meaning of words, right? And not knowing that a Gentile, the Gentiles that the Bible speaks of, are two different types of Gentiles. You have a natural Gentile, then you have an unnatural Gentile. That unnatural Gentile is putting on the cloak of a heathen. You know, and this may be what a patriot would deem an extreme example. But when you look at how the so-called African-American man was not deemed a man with 3/5 of a man, was not given rights to vote, was not given rights to read, was not given rights to intermarry, was not given rights to share schools, was not given rights to share restaurants, was not given rights to share restrooms. Then time passed by, oh, now he was given these particular rights. Now he could join the military. Now he can partake in your July 4th. Now he can partake in your holidays. Now you have made him one of you. Oh yeah, now he can come work with us. We can intermingle in the same church together, the same schools together. Now he has put on your identity. And that's exactly what a Gentile is. A Gentile is a person who put on the identity of another nation that was not his. And you guys know that, on how the Israelites here in Babylon the Great, which is America, have always taken upon the likeness of the Edomite. They wanted to get up very high in the collegiate studies with the Edomite. They wanted to advance in their careers like the Edomite. They wanted to have the big house and the white picket fence. Why? Because of the imagery of the Edomite. Okay? And that's prophecy throughout history. Israel, when left without a guide, when left without a shepherd, when left without a leader, always took upon the identity of the heathen, the identity of the other nations, the identity of the people in the lands to where they resided. You know, but in these last days, you have the scoffers, you have the scorners, you have those that are involved in this truth and this ministry for filthy lucre's sake. And they all are going to have their portion in the lake that burneth with fire, right? Because that lake of fire and brimstone is a place of judgment for the wicked. Meaning what? That when the Heavenly Father advances these last days of judgment, when these last days of judgment advance, many people are going to get caught up in the time of Jacob's trouble. Many people are going to get caught up in these concentration camps. And many people who escape those particular perils, so to speak, are going to get caught up in the nuclear destruction. For when World War III breaks out, and then those nuclear missiles are shot from these other nations onto this particular landmass, it's just like that movie to where the individuals were so-called escaping death. You know, you can read that in the book of Amos. You know, but ultimately death found them. So many that shall believe and think that they are in good case, the Most High has done nothing but preserve them to be destroyed and burned up by fire. And once again, you'll have a scoffer who will say that you're insane, you're nuts, or you're crazy. You know why? Because they can't fathom the judgment of the Lord, nor his secrets that have been revealed unto his servants, the prophets. And you know why? Because it's not meant for them to get it. It's not meant for them to see it. It's not meant for them to hear and understand. It's not meant for them to perceive nothing outside of what their empty head believes to be true. And that's why the wicked shall not go unpunished, right? And though hand joined in hand, both shall be destroyed. Because when the blind followeth the blind, they both fall into the ditch. And many of our people, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians, have changed their ways to seek love from the Edomite, to seek love from the world. When you should 100% change your ways to seek favor from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, which are the Hebrew names of those Hebrew men. So I want to pray that the edification has been made. I'm going to end off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rekaha Kwadash. Double honors to the other apostles, once again, of Great Millstone. And salutation to you brothers and you sisters out there. That's your brother Bunyan. Until next time, I say shalom.